says sometimes Hashem brings terrible suffering on a person, lo aleinu, and a person, what's the gut reaction? Hashem, Master of the universe, why do you do this? Why do I deserve this? But Rav Yagen says, I ask, why not? Did you do everything required that Hashem should save you? So, elderly Holocaust survivor one time visited Rav Yagen. His body survived, but his spirit, his faith, he lost his faith and his connection to Hashem. And in his childhood, he said he was the neighbor of the Satmar Rebbe, alav shalom. But after he left the war, he went to a kibbutz in Israel that was anti-religious. He became off the derech. So Rav Yagen asked him, please put on tefillin. But he stopped and he started crying, and he's like, no. And he said, Rabbi, in my youth I learned Gemara in yeshiva, and cursed Nazis, Yamach Shamam, they killed my father and my mother in front of my eyes. And when I recall the horrors that I saw, I can't hold back my tears. I ask you, Rabbi, why did this happen? This question rips my heart in half and takes away all my faith. There were tzaddikim. Why did this happen? So, to that person, Rav Yagen says, I answered nothing. But the truth is, we don't realize the severity of sin. Single Birkat Hamazon, without kavanah, he says, is enough to bring 40 years of suffering. Embarrassing one person one time in public is worthy 80 years of misery. So we shouldn't be complacent. We have to realize, even if we're not the world's biggest sinners, the sins we do is enough to bring us suffering. But Hashem is merciful. He's patient. He gives us a chance to do Teshuva. So not only does Teshuva come from Hashem's mercy, even suffering comes from Hashem's mercy. Right? Imagine somebody finds a tumor in his body. So the only way to save his life is complicated operation and treatments and whatnot. In the entire world, sometimes there's only one surgeon who could heal him. And the surgeon lives in France, and he has to travel all the way there, and he has to pay his fees, and he pay transportation, hospitalization, and so much more, and all his money is gone. He has no savings. And so all of a sudden, salvation comes, the surgeon hears about the case, and he says, you know what, I'll do it for free, I'll save your life. And I'll come to you, you don't even have to come to me. And what? The surgeon comes to Israel, where the guy lives, the chole is brought to the operating room, and they go and they start the operation. And what? And the little son of this guy who has the cancer, he comes into the operating room. What does he see? He sees a guy holding a knife about to cut his father. So he says, what are you doing? What are you doing cutting into my father? Leave him alone. Murderer. And what? We all tell him, get out of here, Kish, move out. We're helping him, opposite. Through this, we're going to cut him, we're going to hurt him a little bit now, we're going to save him and let him live for a long life. A lot of times, we're like that little kid, crying to Hashem, why Hashem, why are you cutting us? Why are you hurting us? And Hashem it's telling us, you don't realize, my friend, or my son, what I'm doing for you, I'm healing you, and this is also coming from my mercy. And I'm saving you from the terrible punishments of the world to come by giving you in this world. So therefore, sin, we should know, is worse than a tumor. It can bring suffering of a whole life, just like cancer could. But a person has to realize that many times Hashem gives to us out of mercy, to give us a wake-up call, for us to realize that this life we have to change, we have to do better, and we could do better. So what? So a person compare this world versus the next world. Where would you rather suffer? You'd rather suffer in this world. The next world's infinity. It's 0.00001% of what could be in Olam Haba, because it's forever over there. So therefore, a person would obviously say thank you to Hashem. Better now than later. So suffering a lot of times is a wake-up call. We have to take the hint. The sages teach us in Masechet Arachin, even if you reach into your pocket and you take out the wrong coin, the wrong bill that you want to take out from your pocket, that's also suffering from love. Suffering from Hashem, that Hashem wanted you to think about why this happened to you, in order for you to, there's a famous story with the Apian, alav shalom, where he was walking out of the shiur, he fell down a few steps, and he fell on the floor, and he didn't get up. They thought the rabbi got injured. They wanted to call Atzala. They wanted to call the hospital, the doctors, and they said, no. So why are you sitting on the floor, Rabbi? He says, I'm not getting up till I think and realize why this happened to me. And we have to, Musar lesson that all of us have to go through. Whenever something happens to us, we have to sit and think, maybe why this happened to me. Why did Hashem make me go through this? Is Hashem righteous and I'm wrong, or is Hashem wrong and I'm righteous? Most likely, Hashem is righteous and I'm wrong. So therefore, that takes some time to think about. Yagen ends off with the story over here. He says that there's many years ago, his friend brought Talmid Chacham to his house to tutor his son, to teach his son Gemara. So one day, the conversation began to speak about a different Torah scholar, and my friend said, asked the tutor about him, and the teacher said, "Oh, he didn't have Yirat Shamayim, and he didn't pray properly," and this was totally false. That rabbi they were talking about was Yirat Shamayim. The tutor all of a sudden got a punishment, measure for measure. He got a growth on his tongue, and eventually it got worse and worse and worse till it swelled up. He choked and he died. So the tutor, if he would have realized he got hurt on his tongue because of how he spoke, he would have done Teshuva, saved his life. But many people, they think that someone else did this to me. It's because I eat this food. It's because I don't have this healthy habits. It's because of that. Because of this, my genetics, my predisposition, whatnot. Person has to realize, even if the suffering doesn't bring a person to do Teshuva, and a person dies because of that sin, there's still compassion on this. This Hashem made him die that way, and he suffered through that. There's also compassion on him. But we should be zocheh to have awareness. And the second you see something happening, we'll do Teshuva. And the Gemara says Teshuva is like, the Rambam says, it's like a shield against all bad calamity. Once you do Teshuva, you remove all these decrees. Hashem wants our attention. If you give him attention, then he won't have to bang on your door to get your attention. Baruch Adonai Olam. Amen.